Still looking at me.
Howdy folks, what's up? Good afternoon. How are you doing? Mr. Avenger here, or you can just call me Mr. MA or Mighty Son. But welcome back into another reaction video at your service. I'm doing alright. I'm not gonna lie, this past weekend has been rough, stress, but you know, it's just part of life and busy, but at least there are some good things out of the outcome of this, so it's not too bad. But hopefully that things get a little better, but then again, it's the time of the month, so yeah, I know. And I also would like to address of one video of the reaction I just did not too long ago, and that for those of the Rammstein fans out there, I do apologize for having my eyes closed. And when it comes to the music that is really that good and badass in their right, and just hear something that I don't think I'd never heard of this one, especially to the music video, which is that the Dutchland, and I instantly just instantly cutting loose, and that the mind just takes over, and it's a habit that when you know, from string notes to the drumming, that just kicks so much ass, and that I lose control of myself, and I try to pay attention to it. So if those are offended by that, I do apologize in advance. And if you guys want me to, you know, get back into Dutchland again, just let me know. Or if you have another suggestion from Rammstein's music video, that's fine, because I want to get better at this, because I'm, you know, there are still things I'm still learning, and you know, I guess at the point I gotta stop you know, closing my eyes, because I guess that is that's a sign of disrespectful, and I tend to try to get better. But you know, the fact that I still being that supportive, and that's what I do, because I do enjoy music and the videos of the craftsmanship. So I just wanted to, you know, to address this, and that I did sincerely, that I am deeply sorry about that. But it is a new day, and for the fact that it's Monday, and well, not only that it is my day off, but it's also my birthday. Yeah, I guess it's that time, so not bad, but still, it's a little cloudy. At least it's not rainy, thank God for that. But I just wanted to, you know, just to mellow out and to relax before I tended to go out. So here is a request that I got from Storm Shadow. So I am going to take a look of the title, and something that's something that I grew up with. And everybody should remember the opening theme of Power Rangers. I'm sorry, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And the title is called The Dark Truth About Go-Go Power Rangers, featuring Wasserman, who's the musician and the composer of the theme. So interesting that so there's an explanation to the song itself, huh? Okay, I think that got my interest. So the video that's actually belongs to RKVC. I think that's what it is. But let's check it out and let's begin. And if you are new to this channel, and if you like what you see so far, be sure to click that tiny little bell. And not only that, you will be subscribed, but you also get a notification from yours truly, your friendly neighborhood, the reactor man, the soul of a Japanese brother man, the king of metal / J metal reactor is what I do. And if you have any suggestions or recommendations for a request, just let me know on the comment section, and I will do the best I can to make it happen. So let's begin, and time to react. Ikuze.
premiere and screenings of the recent remake. No, I haven't even seen it. There's some problem there with Haim Saban himself. It's bad blood. Okay, so I'm going to introduce myself again. My name's Ron Wasserman. I write music for a living. I started when I was a kid, and I've done it ever since. And if you go watch the X-Men video, you'll get a much better introduction than this.
2 years ago.
Alright, scene 4, take 1.
Okay, so it's been a while.
We've been busy.
You can check out what we've been up to right over there.
Hello?
Nice.
Who? Who is it? Read a little what? What do you want? Oh.
Vince! Why is it every time we try to finish this video, it's just... There's no way I can defeat Rita Repulsa alone.
No one can.
Unless... Oh my god. It's finally time. To rescue Vince, I have to go back to the 90s and fulfill my true destiny as the Red Ranger. Rick told me not to mess with this stuff, but I've got no choice.
Uh-oh.
Alright, here we go. Whoa! This is cool. I mean, rad? Anyway, this interview with Ron Wasserman is the only source of clues I have to finding out where the Power Rangers got started.
Reminds me of those videos I watch online where a girl lays under the table.
Wrong interview.
Part 1, get into gig.
Like many starving artists, Ron was playing in bands and living gig to gig.
So I was playing a lot of bands in the 80s. And it was doing pretty good, and at one point it was going to be really good. I was music director for this gal, E.G. Daly. It was a great band. It was Matt.
Oh, E.G. Daly. Yeah, I remember her.
The project was taking off, and it didn't, in short. I had been living off credit cards and gone through some pretty rough times. So in '89, a friend of mine called me, and he said...
And E.G. Daly was the voice of Bubbles, too.
I went into Saban when it was on Ventura Boulevard.
I could be wrong.
City, and for the first 7 hours, this guy and I hung out. He just smoked dope for 7 hours. And he goes, all right, ready to record. Pulls out a trumpet, pulls out a Linn drum machine, comes up with a beat, and in 1 hour records 3 1-minute cues with alternate ending. And he got $150 each for this, so he made $450. I hadn't made $450 in a week ever. I said, I got to get into this business. I was allowed to go in the building unpaid and just mess around in the studio and learn more about how their system worked. And then they brought me in part-time, then they brought me in full-time. And the first 3 years, I just kept writing stuff, and there was a couple producers there that were really fundamental to my career change. They broke me of the songwriting format.
Oh, this must be where he gets his big break.
And then they would come to me with home video stuff, and they'd say, can you write a theme for this, for the Three Little Pigs?
Oh, well, I'm sure they loved it.
And I would just get a note back like, what the fuck? So they didn't like what I was doing.
This is going well.
But then one night in '92, I went in and they said we need a theme song for the show called Power Rangers. The only instruction.
Okay, so that was that. So that's what
maybe use the word go.
The concept of that 1992.
Inspector Gadget. So maybe use that. And I remember at one point I had to call my friend and go, morphine. Morphin or morphine? Are they called Morphine Rangers? He goes, it's morphin, fucking moron.
Okay. Part 2, the voice of Power Rangers.
I don't think most people know how quick and dirty the Power Rangers theme song came together, and how in a couple of snap decisions, Ron not only wrote the theme and played all the instruments, but also his rough demo vocals would become the voice that millions of 90s kids associated with their favorite team of heroes.
I wanted to get it done as fast as possible because I'd had such a great long list of rejected themes. So I just went, I'm just going to blow this thing out. As I was writing, I remember going, I like this, but it's real simple. And in 2.5 hours from write it to my guide vocal, it was done. The next day they called and they said, Fox loves it. And I said, who's going to sing it? And they said, no.
Okay, so it debuted on Fox Kids in 1993.
The crazy thing is, most of his vocals are not perfectly in tune, but it seems like nobody noticed or cared. As the 90s ended, digital pitch correcting and auto-tune became more and more standard in recording music. But back then, a common trick to help tune vocals was to record multiple takes and slightly pitch them up or down and combine them all to make one solid main vocal. This is the shimmery vocal tone you hear on a lot of older songs.
The lead vocals are always 3 takes. The backgrounds, each harmony is 3
doubling.
takes.
Oh, it's still
just a fuck ton of vocals. And I would just gargle. I would always put in Diet Pepsi with ice, get it super cold, and gargle it just to tighten my cords. And I was saying, when I did all those songs, I sang for so long.
Oh,
and so
wow.
hard that my vision would go blurry because my sinuses were swelling up because I sing completely through my throat.
It's probably an understatement, but 2.5 hours isn't a whole lot of time to flesh out everything you want to in a song that will be heard millions of times. So nearly 2 decades later, Ron took another shot at it.
Yeah, the luxury of time. Plus, you already know the songs have done well. I mean, that really
It was
that helps a lot.
recorded.
Too.
Oh, it was recorded.
It was all done for fun. I had some free time, and I said, I'm going to see if I can still sing the first verse of the theme. So I just worked it up, and I layered the vocals, and I went, I think I can still do it. And it was hard to go back and listen because none of the original masters, I never had them, and they're all long gone. So I couldn't go back, so I'd have to go back and go, what is that? What kick? Is there a kick there? Because I really want it to be as close as possible.
So this album of Power Rangers songs is currently the only way to support Ron's contributions to the franchise. You'd think the writer and performer of one of the most iconic theme songs in history would be treated like royalty, or even given credit. But this is where our story takes a dark turn.
Uh-oh, here we go. Part 3, The Dark Truth.
They were pretty quiet to me. The first time I knew something was happening is we lived in the Hollywood Hills, and across was Universal Studios, and they had the Universal Amphitheater. And there was a Power Rangers. They were going to be there. And the freeway backed up for 5 miles. So my wife and I kind of went down to In-N-Out Burger or something, parked there, and walked up. I was given a seat, far right, 30 rows back. Put him where nobody will see him, and he can't say anything. And I remember they played that thing, and the whole place lit up, and they were all singing, and I went, this is weird. And it's really weird that we're sitting way back and over here. That's when I knew.
You gotta remember that back in the early 90s, or now, there was no social media to follow the zeitgeist easily, unless you were a kid or a network exec, and Ron was a working composer on to the next dozen projects. As the show got more popular, the effort to hide Ron Wasserman and his contributions was increasing.
And then the show got bigger and bigger. I worked at nights, but if there was ever a chance of any network exec being around, they got me out of the building. They didn't want anybody to know I was doing this. That's why I didn't do the first film, because Robert Kraft over at 20th Century said his name.
Yeah, and which that the movie came out in 1995.
So, in case it hasn't become clear already, Ron Wasserman wrote and performed the Power Rangers theme song. The show went on to become a massive hit, and not only was he not credited, he was actively being hidden from the public, and even network executives. This was completely legal, though. In short, this was a work-for-hire deal, where a songwriter gets paid a lump sum to relinquish their songwriting credit and any future royalties. It was more common in the 80s and 90s, but it still happens now. Hell, our band, RKVC, has been hired for similar work-for-hire projects, and we're not allowed to talk about them because of contract. But the bottom line is, sometimes it's the only way to get the bills paid. Ron worked for Saban and wrote many, many theme songs and scores that went uncredited in exchange for a stable salary. But that was then, and nowadays, thanks to the internet, the world knows who the true songwriter is. With the recent Power Rangers movie reboot, you'd think that he'd be on the top of producers' minds.
Apparently there were a lot of meetings where the staff was pushing to get me in, and I honestly don't know what it is, but they said there's some problem there with Haim Saban himself. It's bad blood.
So what was the problem with Saban? We'll never know for certain, but Ron has some pretty good observations working so close to the mysterious Hollywood execs.
So the only thing I can think of after all these years, honestly, is that he and Shuki own the rights. Everybody else knows I did it. He's one of the richest men in the world and called a media mogul, which is fine. It's got to just drive him fucking batshit that the biggest thing that he ever created, he didn't create. Down to it's Japanese footage.
Part 4, Be There Bitch. Oh, here it comes.
Even though Ron was never officially credited, even though he was literally hidden, even though he never received decades of royalties for a smash hit TV show's theme song, Ron doesn't begrudge his experiences.
You never know where stuff's going to lead. That's why you got to say yes to everything. And that's why so many of my friends that preferred to keep 100% of nothing still own 100% of nothing. You pay your dues. And that's what a lot of composers don't get, or anybody in the field. And the 20 some odd that have written me over the years, how do I get in? I'm like, find a composer, a production house, knock on the door, and say this line. I make great coffee, I'm your bitch. Because they're busy. And that's all they got time to hear. If you make great coffee and you're the bitch, and you're a great writer, 5 years later you might be doing something like, I think I'll get an agent. I'm 3,500 episodes of television in and I don't have an agent. It's who you know and it's working hard and being good. That's what it is.
Ron Wasserman has continued to compose for TV through the decades, made appearances at conventions, and thanks to the internet, is getting discovered by fans as the true writer and performer of Go-Go Power Rangers, the original theme song to the hit 90s TV show on Fox Kids.
What are you doing here?
I came back here to become the Red Ranger so I could
You
rescue
didn't
you
even realize he was
before they
right
got
there,
Moon issues,
right behind
home
you.
order, and then she sent me back here. I found that box that Rick left at our place, and bam, I was here.
Sure, that checks out. Anyway, if you want to see the full interview with Ron Wasserman, click here. If you want to see us showing him covers of the Power Rangers theme
RKVC,
songs
okay,
on
excuse
YouTube,
me.
click here. If you'd like to hear our
My bad.
2020 interview with Ron Wasserman on our podcast Yellow Spandex, click over here. And as always, don't forget to do the wrong things.
With the right people.
Wow. Okay, this is something that I never knew about this, but you know, there's an old saying goes is that you get what your credits due, right? But to Ron, I mean, that is rough, and you know, it was in 1992 that they want him to make the theme song. And then once that was finished and that got released on the first episode, that was 1993, and with the show being that popular and got into a very higher stack to it, and yet Ron didn't receive any credits from anyone, including the executive producers, and that's deep, man. Because I guess that at that time, no one knew who wrote that theme, let alone make the song of it, and he was not being noticed about this, and yet this man has been done so many themes within the past few years through the decade, and yet that he was never been credited. That really sucks. But then again, you know, back in the early 90s or a bit almost into 2000, that the social media was not been created yet until now. That is that now people start to realize that he wrote this song and composed this, and this is the kind of thing that he really did deserves the credit that he really needed, because this is the man who made that theme became legendary. Hell, I still remember this. And speaking of which, of the Power Rangers reboot movie, I do seem to recall that they actually revived of the one theme that's from the 1995 movie that only just lasted about like 5 seconds or 10 seconds, somewhere around that, and that's kind of pretty messed up. So I guess there was bad blood between Ron and Saban Entertainment, or it was someone else that was working on the Saban films. So, but damn. Well, Shadow, I appreciate you showing me this clip, because as I said before, I remember the theme like the back of my hand, and of course the show that I grew up with, but I never knew the deep core of the truth behind that with the music that he made, and he didn't receive any credit or the kind of the respect that he wanted it, and that's pretty messed up. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. And if you did, and for those who grew up watching the Power Rangers, I'm talking about the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Yeah, I guess back then just the word morphin, I guess that's a loose of a slang for morphine. Don't take it from me. Tell that to the AVGN. But hit the like button and also leave a comment down below, and I will catch y'all in the next video. So take care, guys, and peace.